Today, we're talking about focus. This is your most powerful tool. This really is your magic wand, and it can help you start creating the results that you actually want in your life, especially after 50.
And so by the end of this episode, you're going to learn, and I'm going to look at my handy notes so I don't miss anything, why people stay stuck without realizing it, the three hidden ways that your focus is sabotaging you, and the simple shift you can make today that will change your focus and then change your results. And if you haven't met us, I'm Sally, and this is my big sister, Dana. And so, Dana, let's jump in and tell us why this focus thing is so important.
Well, what we focus on is what we get. I'll say that again. What we focus on is what we get. I resisted this concept for most of my life until I started to realize, oh, wait, maybe that's true. What if my focus is really important? And the only way, like, we can't talk you into this. The only way really to understand it is experientially, for you to really look at this and experiment with focus and see what it can do. But mostly our focus has been on autopilot.
Absolutely. And then
Would-
we just go wherever like the juiciest thought takes us. That doesn't really get you anywhere. I realize that in my life. That is when I really like harness my focus that I can get somewhere. And like you
Yeah.
said, don't believe us just by talking about it. It's we're gonna have some practices that will prove to you for yourself that it works. When you focus, you will see things in your life differently.
And don't feel bad if you haven't been, focusing in a way that's really been deliberate or consistent or helpful because, like, we're not taught how to focus. We're not taught that focus is important.
Yeah, I agree. So, what are the three ways that our focus can actually be sabotaging our life? Or should I say, lack of focus is sabotaging our lives?
Well, the first one is, you know what? Phone.
I know what you're going to say.
Phone.
Uh,
Phone. How did this happen to us? I mean, if you're listening, you're probably like us. We did not grow up with phones. We did not grow up addicted to phones, and yet,
and
here
yet,
we are. But I think of focus. I just want to say this because I want to make a real metaphor that you can see and understand. That focus is like driving a car, right? You've got to stay on the road. You have to focus. When you pick up your phone while you're driving, you're not focusing anymore, right? And
so don't do it.
don't do it. Don't do it. And you drive into a ditch. So that's what I'm saying, like
Yeah,
phone, that's the
yeah.
phone and everywhere because we are driving, so to speak. We want to be driving toward that important thing or toward that important feeling or whatever it is, how you want to live your life. But if the phone is always there or people or noise or just cluttered, oh my
Just
gosh, how many things distract us?
yeah, I mean, it's endless. And we can even, our thoughts can just be distracting. We can just, go down a rabbit hole of this and that and ping pong all over the place.
Well, that goes to
And
the second one that you talked about is that your
yeah,
brain is wired to look for problems.
absolutely. So as human beings, we are hardwired to focus on the negative, and that comes back goes back to our people ancestors because it was much more important that they focus on what might eat them than on looking for the juicy apple because they had to focus in. If they were over here like, "Oh, what might be good?" They literally were putting themselves in danger. So
Yeah.
we are hardwired to be the people now, the human beings that have this worry gene, this let's look for what could go wrong, let's look for what might be threatening. So our focus is naturally going to go down the pathway of the negative. And so that can be a huge way that our attention can get hijacked because we're constantly focusing on things that we really don't want to happen. We're just, autopilot going down that path, and that's where we wanna catch ourselves. Like, is this what I want to be focused on? And probably it's not. And we think it's gonna solve a problem, and it really just adds to the problem the more energy we give it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
well said. But,
So
and one other thing that really can keep us out of our focus are our belief systems. And this is huge because whatever we believe in or how we believe the world is, for instance, is what we see. We get evidence. We are selective. We get evidence based on our belief systems. And we were talking earlier about how politics is a great example of this.
Yeah.
Is that, if you believe a certain way in politics and that why everything's gotten so fractured, is that's what you're going to see. That's what you're going to gravitate towards. That's what you're going to focus on. And that focus is going to take you down that road, not another road.
And it can
Yeah.
be, I mean, politics is one example, but it could be anything.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like, if you don't feel talented enough, for
Yeah.
instance, you're gonna look around and look for people who are more talented than you, instead of feeling like, "Oh, I have a place at this table." So, your
Yeah.
belief systems we can really sabotage ourselves they can keep us from looking at and believing that what we're focusing on is possible. If we believe that our possibilities are small, especially as we get older, that they shrink, then we'll
Yeah.
see shrinking possibilities instead of, oh, as I get older, my possibilities open up. Oh, you start to
Exactly.
see people who are doing this at 100 and this, whatever, an Iron Man at 80 and whatever it is, right? You'll start to
Yeah.
see reinforcement you'll
Yeah.
reinforce those beliefs that you already have, and you'll get examples and evidence in real life, and that kind of focus is exciting, actually.
Yeah, and I think the same is true on the opposite, that if you are at a certain age, and it doesn't really matter what age, but I think the longer you've not done something, let's say that you're 55 and you've never built your own business. You don't have a belief in yourself that that's even a possibility,
Yeah.
even though it's something you want. So you're not going to be able to focus in that way because that's going to be outside of your realm of what's
Mhm.
possible. And so we really want to open up our possibilities and be able to focus on something even when we at the beginning may not even see it as a possibility. And as we give our attention to what might be possible, that will grow.
Yes,
And we'll start
absolutely.
to believe, maybe I can do that.
You have this magic wand of focus, but you have to use it.
You have to use it. So, and then the first thing you have to do, and I say you have to do it because you really do have to do it. I'm saying this to me and to you and to anyone who's out here with us, is you have to decide what you want to focus on. You have to name it. Unless you give your brain like it's a bloodhound and you're like, "Here, sniff this, let's go find this."
Yeah.
Unless you give it something to really focus on, your brain will again just wander and look at all kinds of different things. You've got to be the one to direct it. So that's the
S
first step. You got to
so
name it, focus it. Yeah.
let's give an example.
Okay, let's use your example on because I know what you want to use.
What's my
The
example?
the orange cars.
Oh, focus on orange cars because you didn't see any orange cars yesterday, probably, unless you have one. If you're one of those unicorns who has a orange car, I love an orange car, by the way, is focus. Like today, when you're out and about, see how many orange cars you see. Once you start looking for something, that's just an experiment. Like once you start looking for something, you see it, even
Yeah.
though it was there yesterday and you didn't see it.
And the purpose of the orange car is not because orange cars are necessarily important, but
Or the
because the
best.
or the best, but that what it does is it proves to you, "Oh my gosh, when I start focusing on something, I start seeing it."
Yeah.
That's where the orange car comes into play. That's why it's so important, but you could also use it on something more abstract. Like, let's say you really want to focus on that people are friendly, people are helpful, people are kind, and you really want to see that more of that in your life instead of, people sometimes complain, everybody's gone to hell in a handbasket and all that, but so you want
Oh
to
my
focus on the
God. What are you, 95? All
maybe.
right, we're gonna.
Well, no,
Hey,
people
nothing wrong with 95, by the way.
what do you mean? That
I
people
thought
don't
that was
want
funny.
okay. But what I'm saying is a lot of people think that people are not as kind and generous and helpful as maybe they were back in our day.
That's
But,
right.
the fact is if you focus on it, then guess what? You will be like, "Oh, that person opened the door for me. The person at the checkout line was so polite and helpful." Or
Yeah.
that young man, helped me
Help me out with my groceries. Uh, when that young man opens that door for you, and sometimes they still do, and it makes me feel so good.
Yeah.
Um, you're like, "Oh, wait, somebody raised you right." We don't even really notice it. Or when somebody opens the door or, like, is nice or friendly, or especially when you're checking out, and this is a hard thing, when somebody you're checking out of someplace and it's been a long line and everybody's being an ass, and then you're just like, that person smiles at you and you smile. Like, bring it on. Like,
Yeah,
bring what you want to receive, but sometimes people are so wonderful and they're getting so little credit for it. So for us to acknowledge it that, "Oh, I've been looking for friendly people, and look what just came my way."
yeah. And the more we do it, but we gotta name it, and then the more we see it, then we need to take that evidence and be like, "See, I saw it." Because then we're reinforcing that it does work, and that's really important.
It is, it is. So,
So
and then
and
when we're drifting, right? When we're drifting and maybe we see catch it, catch your attention drifting, because you might have had that lovely experience in the store, and then you get out or wherever you are, and then you get on the road and somebody cuts you off.
yeah,
Okay, don't drift over there. Just say, "Oh, whatever,"
yeah.
stay where you are, stay in your lane, stay in
Try
your focus.
Right, try not to feed the things you don't wanna grow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we really think we're entitled to get annoyed, to get frustrated, to lash out, whatever, but you don't wanna feed those things because you want to use your attention to continue to bring it back to the things you want to see more of, and it's not necessarily always easy in the moment, but the
Oh,
more we can catch it
no.
and we can be like, "Okay, I just did it," that's fine. We're not gonna be hard on ourselves for it, but we're gonna say, "I did it, and now what do I wanna do next? And what do we do
Redirect.
next?" Yeah,
Redirect.
yeah,
Redirect in real time. I always call this like boots on the ground, like redirect. And you don't do it later. You do it
yeah,
right then, because
yeah,
later is nothing. Now is where you change your life.
yeah,
So when that moment where you're drifting or in the shower thinking about like that boring TV show you're having me watch, and I'm thinking about the boring TV show and oh my God, in the shower.
sorry.
And yeah, thank you. And anyway, so and I gotta go, "Oh, what are you doing?" Like, that was just, like, nothingness, right?
Yeah,
So we wanna redirect to, "Oh, we get to record this podcast today. Oh, let me think about how much fun this is, or let me think about what we're gonna talk about, or,
yeah,
who we're gonna maybe reach today," or those kinda things, because that actually means something to me, not
yeah.
the boring TV show.
Our attention is so important, and yet we just use it like it's irrelevant. Like we just
Yeah.
we just let it kind of direct us instead of us saying, "Okay, I am going to direct my attention." So this
It is
sum it
so
up,
powerful. It
so
is
powerful.
so powerful. Y'all,
Yeah,
this is what listen, we'll talk this talk, but this is no kidding. I almost said a
yeah,
bad word.
yeah,
This is I mean, it is the most powerful thing you got.
yeah,
And why would we be sloppy with the most powerful thing we've got?
yeah.
Guilty, guilty, but I'm just saying, I every day I try to clean that stuff up because whatever you focus on grows.
Yeah. If you want to change your life, this is hugely important to start with your attention. So, to
Yeah.
sum up what we just said, because we've been all over the place and it's been a lot of fun, but we need to decide, we really need to name it. What is it I want to focus on? We wanna catch ourselves when we drift, and then we want to bring ourselves back. I mean, and do it. It is a practice. It is not something you think about and contemplate. It is a every day, every hour, every minute thing that we practice over and over and over again. And when we do it, and we know this for sure, it changes your life.
Yeah, and if
For
you don't
sure.
know it yet, try you
Try it.
just try it. Just try it.
Yeah.
Try it consistently over a week until we see you next, because 'cause we're gonna
Yeah.
see you next week.
And let us know in the comments. Let us know what you're focusing on and then, how it's changed, what you've seen after you place that focus for a week. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you like, subscribe, like, all those kind of things, we appreciate that. We're really happy to be here.
Bye.